Hi, Four Leaf Leaders. I wanted to take a moment to talk about the solution matrix. So this is a tool that you can utilize once you have a list of ideas of interventions you want to try in order to reach a goal or solve a problem. So I'm going to share my screen, and that's going to allow you to see what the solution matrix looks like. And we're going to take a look at the fact that along the bottom, it says how effective this action is going to be on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not effective at all, 10 being the most effective thing that could ever be done to reach this goal or solve this problem. On the left side, you'll see how easy it is to do. And that's very subjective, right? That's something that only you can really decide how easy a task is going to be for you. So again, scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your entire life, 10 being so easy you'll probably be able to snap your fingers and it happens. So first, we would take our list of things that we are going to put into play, or we want to put into play, or could put into play. And then we are going to place them on this chart. So let's say that you have a list and you look at one of the items and you say, wow, this is going to be really easy for me to do. I would give it an 8 in terms of how easy it's going to be. And then you look at its effectiveness and you say, oh yeah, this is absolutely going to be a 9 on my effectiveness level. This is super effective and super easy. So you plot that point. So if you take a moment to look at your screen, you'll see that I've plotted it at 8 for how easy it is to do and 9 with how effective it is. This falls into our upper right-hand quadrant. I know I'm using fancy terms there, but the upper right-hand side of our solution matrix. And that means it is going to be what we call a do it now task. It should be one of the first things we do. I like to call it low-hanging fruit. So do it now. Make that something that is an A or number 1 priority. Looking at the next item on your list, you say, gosh, this is going to be really hard, like really hard for me to muster up the courage to do, or it's going to take a long time for me to do it, or I have to learn a new skill and so I have to trudge through it, whatever that looks like. And you decide to give it a 2 in how easy it's going to be. You also acknowledge that this idea is a really good one and you know it's going to be really effective. And so you plot it, 2 for how easy it is and an 8 for how effective it is. This falls into the lower right hand side of our screen, the lower right quadrant, and we're going to call this a schedule it. So this is one of those things where maybe you schedule a class, maybe you schedule this with someone else. Whatever that looks like, you put it on the schedule. So for example, maybe it's writing a book. You know, writing a book is going to be super effective in launching your career, getting speaking engagements, whatever that looks like for you. And you know it's going to be really hard for you to write a book. So you find another group of writers and you go and you write when you are with them. That would be scheduling it. And that's a way for you to make it a little easier to find the motivation to do it because it's already in your schedule. So we schedule it. Next item on the list we find is going to be super easy to do. Super easy to do. It's a 9. We also acknowledge it's not going to be super effective. We'd give it about a 3. So we plot it, okay, 9 and a 3, not super effective, but really easy to do. Maybe it's even a task that you're looking forward to or you think is a lot of fun. And so this is a nice to do. This is one of those tasks that maybe we don't have to do it right away. It's definitely not as important as our do it now or even our scheduled tasks, but it's something that we can do when we're feeling a little less motivated. It's something that we can do when we just need something to pick us up, or even something where I'm just not there with my scheduled task and I've done all my do it nows. Let's get into the nice to do's. There's one last area that we end up with, and that's when things aren't super easy, but they're also not super effective. So in this example, I've said it's about a 3 in how easy it is, and it's about a 2 in how effective it is. this is going to be a last resort. I call it a last resort because you don't want to get rid of it until you've talked to a mentor about it. So talk to a mentor, someone who's been there, done that, and has been successful before. And that will allow you to see whether or not you actually want to dismiss this idea completely, or if it's something that, you know what, I just have to do it. I don't really believe that it's going to be effective, and I don't really want to do it. It doesn't sound very fun or easy. And then it's your last resort. You just do it later. Remember, these can be in motion. So maybe something you thought was going to be super effective, you have a mentor say, actually, no, not so much. Or the opposite. You think, gosh, this is not going to work. And then you hear from multiple sources that, hey, yeah, this is what you need to do. This is a good thing. And so it can move. It's fluid, especially on the effectiveness scale. And maybe even on your easy to do scale, because you either get better at a skill, or you become a little more open-minded to other ideas, or you get a little more practice, whatever it looks like. You may find that it gets a little easier to do things, and you may find it gets a little harder to do things as well. So the solution matrix is really, really helpful as a prioritization tool for the actions you want to take to be successful. It's also going to be very helpful to keep coming back to this to make sure that your plan is still in alignment with what you believe is effective and what you've learned from your experience and the experience of others, as well as if it's shifted at all in terms of how easy it is to do based on other things that have happened in your life. So that's a quick look at the solution matrix. I hope that was helpful, and I can't wait to hear what you do with it. So with that, my 4-leaf leaders, enjoy the rest of your day, and and happy prioritizing.